Welcome to race 13 of 36 today of the NASCAR Inside Line Custom Season. Today we will be at Dover International Speedway for the running of the FedEx 400 Benifitting Autism Speaks. Last week at Charlotte, Dale Earnhardt Jr. won his first race of the year, punching his ticket into the playoffs. Several big-name drivers like Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski have not earned a win this year. There's still plenty of time, though. And guys like Ryan Newman have. So we start 13th next to Ricky Stenhouse. Matt Kenseth is on the pole with Kyle Busch to his outside. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson make up row 2. Denny Hamlin and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will make up row 3. Greg Biffle and Jeff Gordon will make row 4. And the top 10 is Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski. Let's go race at Dover. As the pace car is off, 80 laps around a 1 mile oval that is not afraid to crash a bunch of cars if needed. Green flag is out. Down. Kyle Busch taking the lead on the outside lane, but Matt Kenseth comes back on the inside to take it right back and this time clear him as we get at a couple spots under Harvick and Edwards. Biffle hits the brakes up ahead and seems like everybody's starting to settle down, if you will, into small groups, which of about 4 on both lanes. Tony Stewart maybe trying to break out a line in front of Hamlin. Thinks better of it as Hamlin gets by him up top, and Stewart gets into the wall off 4. There is no caution. And Kyle Busch will take the lead, and looks like he's off and rolling as Matt Kenseth falls to 5th. Maybe tries to. Does he try to settle in behind Gordon? No, he's trying to take the spot. He will take the spot. And Dylan Murray almost passed Jeff Gordon. Off of 2 as well. So top 5 as it sits is Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., Matt Kenseth, and Dylan Murray for top 5. And Dylan Murray was able to power on the inside and take the lead right off of 2. New leader here at Dover. 5 laps in, about to complete lap number 6. Wide open. And back into turn 1. Off turn 2, and then we're pulling away from Kyle Busch by a little over 1.5 seconds as we speak. As the lead continues to grow, our time is basically ascended well into the 23:10 territory for lap times. We are currently the fastest car on the racetrack, and you can obviously see why, as we are flying right now. We can add another lap led, so more bonus points to the 25 of Dylan Murray. He is tied with Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick for most wins this season, at 2 apiece. Everybody else that is in the playoffs has 1, which, keep in mind, the playoffs start at Darlington, followed by a night race at Richmond, and then the eliminator of the round of 16 at Talladega. Dylan Murray continuing to, he's running wide open all the way around this track. As you see, his car is very, very amphibious. Lets the car roll in, slow down to probably the right speed, and power right off turn 2. And that's definitely a good way to tame the monster at this place after qualifying 13th. Murray puts a couple cars a lap down, or tries to. Nemechek fights on the outside. And puts him a lap down. With several more cars a lap down. Greg Biffle after this, I think that's Biffle up ahead. Yeah, that's him. Greg Biffle after having his issues early on with Tony Stewart where they both slid up the racetrack. Biffle has fallen way outside the top 30 and 37th and is about to go a lap down. Definitely not a good start to the season. Greg Biffle was hoping this would be the race that would turn him around. As Dylan Murray he's letting that car fly through, almost glide through the corners almost, and slowing down if needed. But right now, considering Dylan Murray is pretty much checked out over Kyle Busch, he is well ahead of him, and with about a 9.5 second lead. Austin Dillon goes up the racetrack, loses several positions and a lap to boot. Murray he's going to go and put Danica a lap down, 10. And I think pit stops may be starting up here very shortly. Green flag stopped anyway. As to the first group of cars led by Carl Edwards begin the first round of green flag stops today. As those begin now. As pit stops begin, we're bringing the God Bless America car out. The Patriotic car that finished 4th on Saturday night, last Saturday at Charlotte. Kyle Busch beginning his round of green flag stops. As, almost a big moment for Juan Montoya and Paul Menard. Paul Menard is trying to blend on the track. It's in the side of him. Dylan Murray is fast. He is back on the lead lap. The only cars that have not pitted. Oh, big moment for Logano. And Logano bounces into the wall, shoots across the track, no caution somehow out of this. And yellow. Looks like for debris in turn 2, I guess. No caution. They really didn't show a good reason why they had to wait the yellow. Other than, phantom debris caution. So, Dylan Murway and Charlotte winner Dale Earnhardt Jr. are going to be on the front row for the restart. Dylan Murway already starting to run away from Jeff Gordon and Pullman and Dale Earnhardt Jr. by about 0.3 of a second. And he's already on the gas. And he's gone. Well over, already within 2 laps, he's almost 2 seconds ahead. That 25 is flying. Another lap in the books. As Dylan Murray is continuing to run away from the field, he is just running that car ragged. Kind of kisses the wall off 4, or in the middle of 3 and 4. Look at that. Dylan Murray is almost 5 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon. Dylan Murray lets the car. He's riding on the bottom. And Gordon is just halfway through turn 3 as we speak. Well, he just got turn 4. Dylan Murray continues to pull away. He's just clicking off laps. He's led about 20 at the line as we're working lap 27. He took the lead from Kyle Busch on lap 6. Jeff Gordon settles into second. And the lead between Murway and Gordon continues to grow. 8 seconds as we speak. Gordon is just now getting into turn 2. Dylan Murway is just coming out of turn 4 and approaching a huge cluster of lap traffic. Greg Biffle not really having the day he expected. He's sitting in 40th right now. Ripping around his joint. Be pretty dangerous to try to negotiate his way around. Because 2 wide at Dover is sketchy enough. 3 wide, you're most likely going to wreck the thing. Yeah, like right there, this is a sketchy situation. You got Landon Castle, Ricky Stenhouse, Bobby Labonte in front, 3 wide. Seems like they're still trying to sort that out. Martin Truex sitting in 31st. About to go a lap down, passing Bobby Labonte, Scott Speed, and probably the 26 of Josh Wise here in a moment as Dylan Murray had a tough time negotiating around as Jeff Gordon closes in by a couple seconds. as Dylan Murray continues to make his way through the pack. Just a reminder, Pocono will be Saturday at 1 o'clock, and I did make some schedule changes to some races, most of which are going to be leading up to the chase. Chicagoland will start at 1 o'clock Mountain instead of 12:30 Mountain, so 3 o'clock for you folks at East. Daytona, the second Daytona race, the Coke Zero 400, will still be on Monday night, but we'll start at 9 o'clock Eastern instead of 8:30 like I initially planned. And also Loudon will start 30 minutes earlier at 12:30 Eastern. As a little bit of racking up contact up ahead between Reed Smith and Kurt Busch. So anyways, so Chicagoland, Daytona, and Loudon have changed their times as well. And the Bristol night race, the second to last race before the cutoff at Atlanta, will begin at 9 o'clock Eastern as well. That will be on a Tuesday night. There might be a possibility I shift that particular race to Monday night, just like Daytona, and probably hype the piss out of it like they did every other Monday night race that's ran this year. Fill her up. And as pit stops begin, Jamie McMurray cycles out front. Here at Dover, other than that one phantom debris caution, we've been pretty much flat out the entire way around this joint. Tony Stewart leaves, and Dylan Roy enters pit road for his first stop of the afternoon. As Kyle Busch takes the lead, is back out front, putting everybody a lap down. So far, there are about 12 cars on the lead lap or so. And I think one of them is pitting now. Kyle Busch is in turn one as we speak. Coming out of two as the caution's out again. So this really could change a lot of things here on this restart. Martin Truex just got dumped by the looks of it. And, collects Stenhouse. Everyone moves to the left to avoid. To avoid the Noid. So, 15 cars were on the lead lap this time compared to me guessing 12. A lot of drivers had to take the wave around. So, Kyle Busch and Jamie McMurray are on the front row. No, that's the first major accident of the afternoon. Dylan Murray will restart 8th. He was 16th in line. Dylan Murray is scored in 8th. Compared to what I was guessing earlier. 3 wide. Dylan Murray is trying to pass somebody on the apron, it looks like. And he made that work. I don't know how, but he did. That's a crazy man right there. Passing somebody on the apron at Dover. The trickery. Dylan Murray continuing his march up front as pit stops really made for an interesting top 4 with Danica Patrick most likely going backwards. Jamie McMurray, David Newland, and Kyle Busch are the top 3 as Dylan Murray flies by those two like it was nothing. Dylan Murray keeping the car. He's keeping the car at max RPM. all the way through the corner, but letting the car barely roll. Watch this. Lets the car lift, lets it roll a little bit, and right back to the throttle off of 2. Dives back down, lightly touches the brake, and right back to the throttle near the apex center of the corner, and right back to the lead. However, this time, compared to the other 2 long stretches of green flag racing, Kyle Busch is holding on in second. Then diving back down into turn 3. And taking the lead off of 4. Dylan Murray rim rides around the bottom, lets the car rip to the top. And he's continuing to basically just rip around this track. Insane speeds. He even cracked the 22-second bracket in terms of lap times at this play here today. Well past halfway here in the FedEx 400 Benifitting Autism Speaks as Dylan Murray continues to move around the joint. Martin Truex Jr., he was part of the crash with Stenhouse earlier. Slid up in front of Mark Martin and Tony Stewart. Both of them got together. And Truex spun to the inside, ends up collecting Stenhouse as well. So it's the only major accident of this race so far. Keep in mind, we have 31 laps to go at the line. And 31 laps is a very quick time here at Dover unless there's another caution that comes out during green flag stops, which could really throw a monkey wrench into things. Marcus Ambrose getting loose on the apron, slamming into the wall. Caution. Gets loose, comes back up, and hey, that's another hard shot to the inside for Ambrose. Dylan Murray and Danica Patrick are going to be on the front row for this restart. Kevin Harvick is the only other car that has not pitted. Everyone else behind him has. As Kyle Busch was able to make a pass on the outside at Dover work, he takes the lead. Danica Patrick holding even on the inside. Dylan Murray trying to stay in the wake of Kyle Busch. Rips under him and takes the lead right back. As Dylan Murray continues to rip around. On the track, he's continuing to grow his lead to about a second and a half over the 18 of Kyle Busch, and the lead continues to grow and grow and grow. Tires are also gone on the 25, so he's going to have to pit here pretty soon, I think. Same with Harvick and Danica. Or they can hope a caution were to come out right about now. Dylan Murray continues to rip around this track. 25 laps left here at Dover. This 80-lap race today, Dylan Murway and Kyle Busch seem to have been out front for most of the affair. Jamie McMurray led a couple laps on the green, led a lap on the green today. So far, Kyle Busch is even starting to distance himself from the pack. He's up in second. He's entering turn one. Dylan Murway is tearing around this track at pretty much at full speed. Then pretty soon fuel is going to have to be an issue. Of course, that yellow with Ambrose kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything. And with Marcus Ambrose, kind of threw a monkey wrench into Dylan Murway's pit strategy. Same with Kevin Harvick. Dylan Murway slides in the pits. And so begins green flag pit stops as Kyle Busch takes the lead right back. Kevin Harvick is also on pit road under this yellow. Dylan Murway comes in and begins another round of stops. And depending on if there's another yellow to kind of mix things up, I could see this race probably going to the finish unless there's another yellow. And either coming down to pit strategy between Dylan Murway and Kyle Busch or a good restart. Remember, Kyle Busch, a lot of big-name drivers have not won as the yellows come out. For the fourth time as Harvick spins off of two. I saw Kevin Harvick spin around there, so this really just threw a monkey wrench into everybody's plan right there as David Gilliland is now your leader. Everybody took the wave around is restarting at the back. Greg Biffle is 41st. He is not having a great day. Dylan Murway is getting the wave around and sitting in 38th. No car took the wave around. Got the lucky dog, I believe. As this is all in line, by the way. Clint Boyer is 10th. But in line, he is restarting in 38th. Kyle Busch is getting the lead on the outside of Gilliland by the looks of it. He has the lead. A lot of traffic for these guys to fight through. So the guys that had to restart at the tail end of the longest line are going to have a lot of issues negotiating traffic, especially with guys like Amarola, Kurt Busch, and Robert Gordon in the way. Keep in mind, though, if another caution were to come at right now, we might go in here, maybe, as got another wreck. Ooh, it's big this time. One car just shot in pit road. So 3 wide doesn't work. Kurt Busch gets into the wall, clips Truex, and Paul Menard and Casey Kane go for a skid. So Dylan Murway will restart 7th. This is all drivers in line. Kyle Busch is still your leader. As we're getting sorted towards the late stages of this race. With Dylan Murway hitting before that, when that yellow came out, when the crash for Harvick came out, he could make it to the finish. In fact, he's going to make it to the finish as Dylan Murway has just slid right back into 3rd place. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Busch are out front. Remember the last time these two were together? Richmond, anybody? Dylan Murway splits the ankles of Kyle Busch. And it didn't work as Dylan Murway almost gets spun off the front of Junior. Now he's putting McDowell a lap down as there are 12 laps to go this time. Dylan Murway trying to complete the pass on the outside of Kyle Busch. Has to hit the brakes. He's into the wall. Pretty big, though. Yeah, that's some great contact. Kyle Busch trying to look for an opening as there's a crash. This time, Trevor Bayne gets into Robbie Gordon, and Kurt Busch is just an innocent victim. I guess. So this restart could get real interesting here. You got Danica Patrick looking for her first career win. Ryan Newman trying to look for his second win of the year at Dover. Last time he won there was back in 2004. And with Roger Penske. Dylan Murway drifts up the track. Newman takes the lead off of 2. Can he bring Clint Boyer with him? Dylan tries to charge back in on the outside. Moving up the track. And got another wreck this time. Ooh, it's big. Somebody just slammed the wall. And it looks like it might be Jeff Burton, David Stremme, Jimmy Johnson, and more. You know what they say at the end of these races? Cautions breed cautions. And I think we're seeing that play out right here. Dylan Murway and Clint Boyer on the front row. 7 laps to go. This ought to be interesting. Jamie McMurray trying to charge the outside. Dylan Murway way up the track. In the middle, 3 wide. Oh, they're both in the wall. Junior into the wall. Somehow they save it, and they're wrecking. Oh, one car was flipping back there. Wow. Someone was flipping. Who was that? That was Regan Smith. Looked like he was in a barrel roll there. Dylan Murway comes up, gets hit by Martin. Oh. Looked like Regan Smith might have hit a lip in the track. Yeah, Regan Smith hit a lip in the track and went for one hell of a flip. So things could get interesting. You got Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Newman on the front row. As pit stops continue to go on here, David Gilliland, David Stremme, Jamie McMurray, and Dylan Murway get out of pit road. Denny Hamlin could get his 3rd win of the year right here, unless there's several more cautions. Pace car is off. Here we go. 5 to go here at Dover. Had a big rash of cautions near the end of the race, just like last week. Had 7 so far. Dylan Murway is making the middle lane work somehow. as he charges. He went from 15th to 4th in a span of 3 corners, and probably 3rd here very shortly. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin fight for the win. Dylan Murray looking to the inside of Busch. He takes 2nd, maybe. Dylan Murray trying to look under Hamlin for 2nd. A little bit of contact there. 3 to go. Hamlin, Murray, Busch, Newman, and Dale Jr., the top 5. If caution were to come out, this could be big. Yeah, he's looking Hamlin. He's trying to maybe gouge him out of the way, maybe. Dylan's there. Looking to the inside. Could take the lead. 2 to go. Had to miss from Barrett from shooting out the corner big time. As around goes Dylan into the inside wall. And a hard lick. Denny Hamlin well on his way to taking the white. And I think Dylan's going to crash here. Hamlin takes the white flag. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Dylan Murray too far back to do anything. As Denny Hamlin comes off of turn 4, he will see his 3rd win of the season today here at Dover, as Denny Hamlin wins the FedEx 400, benefiting Autism Speaks. So Denny Hamlin wins today at Dover, followed by Kyle Busch in 2nd. Ryan Newman finishes 3rd. Dale Jr. 4th. Dylan Murray 5th. Carl Edwards 6th. Best run he's had in a few weeks. Jeff Gordon 7th. Danica Patrick 8th. Best run for her she's had this year. David Reagan 9th. And David Stremme runs out the top 10. For the rest of the field, Clint Boyer ends up 12th. Jamie McMurray, Josh Wise, Austin Dillon, Bobby Labonte with a good run. Kevin Harvick ends up, after a mid-race spin, ends up 17th. Jimmy Johnson, Mr. 11 time, ends up 19th. Looking through the rest of the field, anybody from Brad Keselowski on back was a lap down, or more most likely. Including some big names: Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Casey Kane. Casey Kane 2 laps down. He, after his Daytona 500 win, things haven't gone well for Casey Kane. Greg Biffle had a top 10 car going, ends up 39th. Eric Almirola 40th. And rounding out the rest of the field, Trevor Bayne with a tough go today, but Dover is not kind. See you Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern for the Pocono 400.